The Burzyansky honey comes mainly from linden trees. The Bashkiriya region is exclusively forests. The only source of nectar and pollen for pollinators like the bees are trees, and among them, the linden trees are the most floriferous.
The bees' lifestyle is very surprising. They're independent. They don't need instructions. They do everything by instinct. If our human society worked in the same manner, the world would live in peace. Each one of us would make the efforts he or she was capable of and consume only according to their needs. And then life on Earth would be ideal. Because the way of life of a bee colony is ideal.
Autumn in Bashkiriya is often very rainy, and it is impossible to go into the forest on a motorcycle. The only means of transport to reach the wild beehives called borts is by horse.
Malish, come on, boy. Tomorrow, I'll go into the forest to harvest my borts. The horse belongs to the Shulgantash Reserve. He lives free in the fields. They lend me this service horse for my inspections. I made this bell myself. I even put my initials on it. With it, I can hear him from far off and locate him in the forest. Sometimes he disappears and I have to look for him for weeks.
In Bashkiriya, the villages are isolated from everything, and people live in autarky. Here each home produces honey, raises cows, chickens, and geese. In Sabi's home, as elsewhere, a honey pot is on the table at every meal.
Beekeeping provides additional income for the family. It's my first job. I'm a Bortovich and an inspector in the reserve. I work on the preservation of wild beekeeping. Wild beekeeping is passed down. My father, my grandfather were also Bortovich. It's a family heritage. I have 3 sons. I think at least one of them may take over after me.
Before leaving, Sabi prepares his horse and the equipment that he inherited from his father. The tools have not changed for centuries.
This is the batman. I will put the honey in here. I almost forgot my axe.
Sabi never goes into the forest alone. He'll be accompanied by another ranger, Khalil, who assists him during each of his outings. Because if the Bashkiriya forests are home to bees, they're also home to bears, wolves, and lynxes. The Shulgantash Reserve is located in the heart of the Bashkiriya National Park. Classified by UNESCO as a biosphere reserve since 2012, It's exclusively dedicated to the protection of the Burzyansky bee. It takes 2 hours by horse to arrive at the sanctuary's entrance. The forest hives, the borts, are maintained by the Bortovich. These masters of wild honey visit them very regularly to ensure that the Burzyansky bee colonies are healthy. Borts are rectangular cavities drilled directly into the trunks of the giant pines. These crevices can harbor bee colonies for hundreds of years.
Look, Khalil. That's the savior board I was telling you about. Today the tree is dead, but in 1921 it's the only bort that survived. During the Great Drought, all the bees in the region died, even in the villages. The colony living in this bort was the only one to survive. And then, little by little, very naturally, that colony went out to repopulate the surrounding trees. If this colony had not survived, today perhaps we'd have no Burzyansky bees in our region. There, that's an inhabited bort. It's a cavity made for the bees. We create a hive that is as close as possible to the bees' natural habitat. Over here, we see marks from a bear. He was here this year. These are old marks. This bear here was small. And above, that's an adult bear that climbed to the top. On this side, there are many marks here. These are fresh marks.
In these forests, bee colonies are the target of many predators, bears, but also martens, woodpeckers, and even ants. They attack the hives to eat the honey, the wax, or young bee larvae.
In a bort, the bees are safe, so usually they like settling in them. Then once the colony is settled in well, we install the door, called a tukmak.